비가 오고 있어요. 태극기 바꿨네. 이게 아마 들어가서 자는 거.
That arrow's going to direct you through our gate. So just come through that little iron gate and then
이 의자 마음에 든다. 진짜 작게, 이빨 작게, 완전히 무서워. 끝내자. Oh,
Like
okay.
to see that.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Hello, how are you? Okay.
갔다 올게. 기다려. 아, 이뻐. 어머, goodness. 잘생겼다. 아, 이뻐. 멋있어, 멋있어. 잘생겼어. 어머, goodness. He's good looking, huh?
Yeah, really is.
갔다 올게.
Do it a little bit earlier before you get to the corn gradually. Okay. Pull it down.
Groaning.
That's it. You can cough. Cough. Target. 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 This one's up. This one's up. Follow. Target. Disney. Target. Paw. Paw. Disney. Up. Disney. Up. Disney. Up. Disney. Sit. Sit. Disney. Paw. Paw. Follow. Disney. Follow. Follow. Disney. Side. All done. All done.
Thank you. It's so small. Beautiful. Oh, hi. Oh. I like how y'all redo the habitat.
Yeah?
Look very nicer.
Yeah? How long has it been since you've been here?
About 5 months ago.
Oh, yeah?
Because since then y'all changed some stuff.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot of metal, wires and stuff. So
Mhm.
able to see more.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Of course. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Ooh.
is a mixture between a lion and a tiger, a hybrid. Now, it's important to know while we talk about hybrids, because there's going to be quite a few throughout the tour. Hybrids are not something you'll find outside of captivity. They are purely for human enjoyment and profit. They don't live in anywhere near each other. They will never appear in the wild. Lions are in Africa, tigers are in Asia. Asiatic lions live somewhere in Asia. Actually, they share similar habitats to tigers, but they never come in contact. And if they did, they wouldn't be worried about hybrids. They'd be worried about food and territory. So, once again, you'll only find hybrids in captivity. And to tell you a little bit more about hybrids, I should point to this orange cat right here. Now, that guy, his name is Lakota. He shares this habitat with that white tiger, Aurora. Now, Lakota might look like a tiger, but he is actually something called a tie liger. That's a second-generation hybrid, meaning his dad's a tiger, his mom's a liger. So, important stuff to know about hybrids. What with them being very unnatural, they come with some biological setbacks. One of those being you'll never see a liger dad. They're completely infertile. Females are only fertile about 50% of the time. Another thing that ligers suffer from is gigantism. They get excessively large. So they're actually one of the top 3 largest terrestrial carnivores in the world. They get bigger than both tigers and lions. You can see that in Lakota. He's actually one of the biggest cats at this facility, around 500 pounds, and he's shown that off this morning walking around. Now, what's important to know about these cats is all 3 of them, Turkey, Lakota, and Aurora, are from the same facility in Colorado. I'm going to talk about this facility a lot today because it is the biggest big cat rescue in United States history. There were 115 animals living on 12 acres of land. The space issue was exacerbated by the fact that they were breeding their animals for pay-to-play franchises and cub petting and so forth. In fact, Aurora and Lakota were used in that cub petting scheme. Now, also their animals were living in rough conditions. They had no escape from sunlight, and they were walking around with loose metal like screws, wires, and nails. So we were really happy to get those animals out of there, and we're going to meet a lot of them throughout the tour. There's actually another one in this area. I have not seen him out enjoying the rain yet this morning, but he's actually in the hammock on the other side of this black jaguar here. His name is Selbit. He's a spotted leopard. He came out after the tour. Now, Selbit, he was from that Colorado facility, but before that, he was actually in a magic show. And in magic shows, he clawed him on all 4 paws. The clawing is not just the removal of the claw, it's an amputation up to the first knuckle. And that's pretty devastating to these cats because they walk on their tiptoes. So when that happens, they fall flat-footed. It leads to joint pain and arthritis. So any cat that is being clawed at this facility is on our lifetime pain management plan. It's a lot more practical than he would be without it, but is a little bit more round than your average leopard. He just doesn't like it a little too much. But he is a little bit happier than he would be without that lifetime pain management plan. Also, he likes playing with his tail a lot. I feel like I should mention that. He wouldn't stop playing with it all today. And anytime they try to give him medication, he makes funny noises. He sounds like a car. So if you ever get to see some of his many layers of personality, he's a very cool cat. But just in front of him, the cat that is out right now is that black jaguar. His name is Bagheera. Now, something about him is he has melanism. Something important to know about that is it's an excessive amount of pigment. Jaguars actually look a lot like leopards. A lot of people mistake jaguars for leopards. They have spots much like them. Those spots can also be called rosettes. Now, ways to tell the differences between a non-melanistic jaguar and a leopard. First of all, if you see them in the wild, jaguars live in the Americas. Leopards live in Asia and Africa. You'll never see them in the same continent. But also, jaguars are 2 times the weight of leopards. And you can see that all over their bodies, especially in their heads. Jaguar heads are bigger and blockier, and in those rosettes. Their spots are big enough to fit an internal spot inside, whereas leopard spots are a lot more compact. But Bagheera, he was actually rescued from the Tiger King Park in Oklahoma. If you watch that documentary on Netflix, we partnered up with the Department of Justice to pull about 10 cats out of that facility, the rest going off to other reputable facilities as well. But we'll meet a few more of those cats throughout the tour, so I'll share more info about that rescue later on. For now, though, if we look to the left, or my left at least, this is the habitat of 2 bobcats. There's one walking around behind that night house right now. That has to be Prince. He shares this habitat with his brother, Tony. Now, they were rescued right here in Arkansas. Now, actually, before their rescue, they were found out in the wild as kittens by somebody that thought that they would make good pets, knowing full well what they were. And that's not a good idea, because bobcats are something called mesopredators. Mesopredators not only hunt things, but they are hunted by things. So they attack and they defend. And they look at you at the drop of a hat. Tony and friends like to showcase how ferocious they are every morning at feeding time when they attack the fence at full force at the sight of food. They do have to be separated. A little bit more about bobcats. They can run 30 miles per hour, jump 10 to 12 feet in the air to catch birds in flight, which is why they have a roof on their habitat. They also take down small deer as prey. For reference, I'm around the same weight of a small deer, so I don't want to be anywhere near 20 minutes if there's not a fence between us. Now, a little bit more about their rescue. This person figured that out pretty quickly. They're not very good pets, so they relegated them to dog crates in their basement. Not paying much attention to them, they kind of fed them soft cat food on occasion, but then they completely abandoned Tony and Prince when the Arkansas River flooded to historic levels. They fled their home and left Tony and Prince in those crates in the basement. Now, they wouldn't be here today if their neighbor didn't know that they were there. She rushed over there, risking her own life because the flow waters were up to their chest and still rising. She got them out of there and gave us a call. Oh, okay. I'm gonna turn that off. Okay, I'm just gonna shout. So, it's thanks to her that Tony and Prince are here today. Now, way back to the tram. You can sit anywhere. I recommend the first two trams, just not the front row. That's where I'm gonna be standing.
It's kind of like a bus and a train together.
Okay.
It's what we rode at Silver Dollar City.
Oh, no, I'm like, here's Daisy. Oh, here. Hi.
Ready to see some animals?
You want your drink? Thanks, Jane. For your drink?
Hey, Madison, take a selfie of us.
I don't have to.
I
I have pots and I have
a good angle. Lean in, Jim.
Lane, look at mommy. Puffs or applesauce?
Hadley. All right, let's see. This speaker words. Okay. All right, so I don't think I mentioned this yet, but we are a non-profit facility, so every contribution goes back to the rescue and care for the animals you see here today, and hopefully future animals as well. We have opportunities for that in ticket sales. Thank you again. Gift shop purchases and lodging options as well. There are 5 African safari lodges tucked away further back there. They're 18 and up because there's a hot tub at them. 2 glamping tents back here are family friendly, along with the further options like the 6 RV camper spots. The 2 more popular options here, Siberian and the Bengal Suite coming up on the left. The world. More popular because they view a tiger yard, but my personal favorite is on the other side of the tiger yard, the treehouse suite. So then you climb up in the loft, you can see the tiger in that yard, and also from the front porch, bring binoculars. Now, coming up on the right, this is the home of another African serval. His name is Jake. Now, Jake's from a facility in Oklahoma. This facility, whenever it closed down, had over 300 animals of 81 different species. Now, whenever it closed, it was actually, Jake was the only exotic cat there. So, he was the only one that was brought to this facility and called this place home, but he loves his night house a lot, even more than Mondo does, which Mondo, just so you know, is a pretty rare sight, so it's cool that we got to see her today. Jake, if you do ever want to see Jake, he's usually out in the evening time chatting with his neighbors across the way, Hunter and Jake. For now, though, we can go ahead and keep on moving up and go visit with Joey. He's waiting to say hello to the trans. Come up on the left. Joey's an orange tiger, and she is a female. She's from the Colorado facility, and she actually originally arrived in the enclosure with Lakota and Aurora in the Discovery area over there. Now, it was Joey, Lakota, Aurora, and another tiger named Felicia. There were 4 tigers in that one enclosure up there. You might think that was a little strange, but the fact of the matter is these cats come from really stressful situations. And the last thing we want to do is stress them out by separating them from the cats that they've grown up with and know forever. So we keep them together until they show us that they don't want to be with each other anymore. So that's kind of what happened with Khaleesi and Aurora. They got a couple of tips, and we brought Joey and Khaleesi over here, and then Khaleesi let us know that she wants her own room. So she lives further down
tour group now. And Joey ended up with the biggest group of all of them. So she's the winner in the end, and she never really was a very complimentary tiger, and she was a little sweetheart. And as sweet as a tiger can be, honestly. And she is from that Colorado facility, so she's doing a lot better. Hi, Joey. She's a happy girl. And it's been a bit since I got to see her this close to the tram. But we'll go ahead and scooch up here. One cat that is usually pretty reliable on these hotter summer days that we're probably not going to get a good view of today is Lila the lion. That'll probably be applicable for just about any of the lions and lion hybrids. They love the summer. They love those hotter days, so they'll be out. If you ever want to come back by on those unbearable days, you'll probably see some lions out like Lila. She's probably enjoying her den right now, though. She's from the Tiger King Park, and like many of the cats from the Tiger King Park, they arrived in very rough, like many of the cats from all our other rescues, the cats from the Tiger King Park arrived in pretty rough condition. And she actually originally arrived sharing a habitat with a tiger named Opie. Now, a lion and a tiger sharing a habitat is pretty risky. They're very different animals. I'll get more into that later. So we wanted to make sure they were at full health before we put them together. I don't know which den she's in right now. If you look hard enough, you might find a foot or an ear sticking up. But it was really important for us to get them back to max health in the safest way possible. So it was really handy that we had 2 night houses attached to just about every single one of these habitats. That way, it wasn't ideal, but we could rotate access between them, letting Lila out for one day, Opie out the next. Now, eventually, we decided to separate them, not because they got into tiffs, but because we wanted to keep Lila safe, and I'll get more into that later when we get to meet Opie. But she gets the sole place to herself, so she's got access to both of these night houses and access to the habitat every single day, and that's the ideal situation. But these 2 night houses are because of a man right here in Quitman, Arkansas. Back in 2002, he had around 60 big cats at his house. 4 of them ended up escaping one day, and they were unfortunately killed. And then he was ordered to get rid of the rest, so he called us and asked us how he could euthanize around 56 big cats. We asked him not to do that, so we partnered up with another facility, built 2 night houses on every habitat, and we were able to rescue double the cats. And that was around 21 cats brought to here, and the rest going off to that other facility. And we were really happy because these dens became really, really useful. They're actually recyclable septic tanks, donated septic tanks. I don't think they're recycled, but they are heated during the winter, they're cooler during the summer days, they're nice during these rainy days, and on really stormy days, we can lock the cats up in them, not just for their safety, but our safety too, should anything happen to their habitat. But that's Lila. We'll go ahead and scooch up here and see if we have any more luck spotting possibly 6 cats in the next habitat coming up on the left. There are 5 African servals in here and 1 Savannah cat. Now, a Savannah cat's another hybrid. They're a mixture between an African serval and a domestic house cat. See, servals are called lap leopards in the exotic pet trade community because they kind of look like leopards and they might fit on your lap if they don't scratch you too much. But that was the issue. They scratched everybody too much. So they tried breeding them with house cats to make them less wild, and that didn't really work. It just made them equally as wild, slightly smaller cats. So introduce the cats in here. This is home to Giselle, Whistler, Sammy, Enzo, Lexi under that roller up there. There's a pretty pale serval. Could be Giselle, but no telling. There's also one under this bench right here, too. But the Savannah cat's name is Tigger. If you ever get the chance to see Tigger, he's pretty identifiable because he's about half the size of the servals, and he's a little grayer. He's got more compact spots. Face on, he looks more like a house cat, but he won't fool you for very long because he doesn't act like a house cat. He gets involved in starts and finishes just about every fight going on in his habitat. He can also jump 15 feet in the air like the servals. And he also sprays like the servals do, which is something you might have heard of with your house cat if you have one. That's the way they mark their territory with urine, and yes, it smells awful. With these wild cats, it smells 1,000 times worse. And crazy thing is they do it 20 to 40 times an hour. So every cat in this habitat was rescued for private ownership. In fact, Sammy, Enzo, and Tigger were rescued from an apartment in New York City. So you can imagine how bad that smells. Now you can read about the rest of these cat stories on our website, turpentinecreek.org, underneath the animals, or in the back of the gift shop. There is a binder with pictures of them and their stories there too. All these cats, Rescue Rich cats, Freedom Field cats too. But we'll go ahead and make our way on up because these pets have found comfy spots to wait out the rainy day. And I don't think I see any more, but I wouldn't call you crazy if you said I thought I saw a couple more in there because they are pretty good at hiding. We're now, though, coming up on the home of a male tiger. His name is Montana. And he is an orange tiger. He's sticking his head out of the night house right now, checking us out. deciding if he wants to come down and say hi or not. Now, Montana's from the Colorado facility, and he actually arrived sharing a habitat with his brother, Poncho. Hi, Montana.
Wow.
You can come down and say hi if you want to. Now, something cool about Montana is both Montana and his brother make a very distinct
me.
sound. It sounds a lot like a cow. The first time I heard it, I really thought that it was a cow. And so I looked over at my boss and I said, what, is he trying to sound like a cow? He said, no, it usually sounds just like a moaning sound with other animals, or with the other tigers. But it did lead to an interesting discovery that tigers actually mimic the sounds of their prey. They can mimic ear calls in their native environment to draw them closer. Other things that work in tigers' favors is that orange and black coloration to them. Tigers and their prey are something called red-green colorblind, so that is they see any reddish-orange shade as a greener color, and those black stripes really break up their shape. They look really invisible in their natural environment. Now, if we move up here, you'll see this next tiger isn't going to really disappear in their natural environment. Now, this is the beautiful Khaleesi.
Look, there's another one.
Khaleesi is the disabled cat that got her own room after moving in with Lakota, Aurora, and Joey. Got her way over here less than a month ago, so she is so enjoying her new habitat. And you'll see that she has no black on her. She is primarily white, orange, and brown. She is something called a golden tabby tiger. Now, if you've never heard of a golden tabby tiger before, I wouldn't be surprised if there's only 30 to 35 of them documented throughout the world. They are not something that really pops up, and unfortunately, they are not something that should naturally pop up. They are due to the wideband gene, and it's because of unethical breeding in captivity. People just wanted to keep on breeding cats together, and they didn't care if the cats knew each other very well or not. So they kept on doing it, and eventually a cat like this popped out. Now, Khaleesi, she is unfortunately unethically sourced, but you can still find her to be a beautiful cat because that's just the way she is. We do enjoy having her here, and we might even get the chance to see another beautiful golden tabby tiger. We're lucky enough to call 2 golden tabby tigers our residents here. One's Khaleesi, the other will be Ticker, but she's from that Colorado facility, and she likes getting to know her neighbors. Right now, I think she's looking across the way at Luna, who's at the end of the bear tunnel. She's a white tiger. You'll be able to see Khaleesi if she's still up there walking at the top of the hill from Luna's habitat. But we'll go ahead and see John up here. We're coming up on another habitat of a lion. Oh, there's Savannah. Looks like she's at least sticking her head out. I wonder if Luna's getting up to something over there, getting everybody's attention. Now, Savannah, she's actually from a facility in Indiana. She was rescued alongside 7 other cats. They're called the Indiana 8. We pulled 4 lions and 4 tigers out of a facility that was long overdue being shut down. They had over 120 violations against them, clear ties to the Tiger King. And the clearest image that we got about where these cats came from was when they arrived here, they couldn't really come out of their night houses. They were really scared because they had never touched grass before. So it took them a long time to get adjusted here. Now, Savannah, she was actually one of the quickest to get adjusted. It only took her about 2 weeks before she started running up and down these hills, playing with all her enrichment toys, and she loves them, as you can see, with all these toys at the bottom of the hill. See, the keepers place those at the top of the hill whenever she's walked away, and then whenever she comes out, it's a good sign that she has come out and hit those toys, chased them all the way down the hill, acting on her natural instinct. She's staying active and happy, and she does love those, and we love you guys, because one of those toys can sometimes cost about $500. So, every contribution goes towards the happiness of these animals. But luckily, Savannah, she's actually a very low-maintenance girl. Her favorite toy in the world is actually just a stick. The keepers will put a ton of sticks in there, and if there's new sticks in there that she hasn't played with yet, she will just be so excited. She'll be obsessed with it for a whole day. She'll push it down the hill. She'll just be a happy, happy girl, which is awesome. We have 450 acres of her all-time favorite toy. And Savannah's going to be a happy cat for a long time. Now we're going to come up here and see if Mama's here and around, but if you look to the left as we come around the bend here, you'll see a break in the trees, some dirt, a gravel, maybe some fencing down there. That would be Freedom Field. Some new construction finished just earlier this year meant to accommodate around 34 cats from a reputable facility in Florida. They just decided to move away from rescue towards conservation and asked to rehome their cats with us. We're happy to take them on. It's around 34 smaller cats like bobcats, servals, and caracals. Only accessible through private paid tours like Coffee with Curator and Carnivore Caravan. Show off, beautiful girl. Now this is the beautiful Mama Shakira. As we come up on her sign, you might read that her sign does just say Shakira, but we do call her Mama Shakira because she is the mother of the Refuge. where she came from, the Colorado facility, they used her for speed breeding. Now she has something called, hello beautiful, she has something called a pure white tiger. If you look at her right now though, you'll see she is in fact not pure white. She has faint stripes all over her body, but that didn't matter. They still bred her for the way that she looked. And they participated in speed breeding where they took advantage of some biological reactions that female tigers have in terms of breeding. And to give you some info on their biology, female tigers in their native environment live around 10 to 15 years. And in that time, they give birth to about 4 litters. They raise their cubs for 2 years and then they go off on their own. But if their cubs were to pass away shortly after being born, they wouldn't have to wait 2 years to try again. They would go back into that state where they can get pregnant, and unfortunately, these facilities take advantage of that. They would get the mom pregnant, have her give birth, and then they'll take the cubs away shortly after being born, making her think they've passed away and allowing her to get pregnant again and again and again. To be 10 to 15 years, 4 litters. We rescued Mama Shakira at 5 years old. She already had 4 litters. That's a lifetime of litters. And that's extremely stressful on her body. Not much is just better to be said for the cubs after they're taken away from their mother. They never go back. They're passed around all day for cub petting and pay-to play franchises. They're also, in some cases, intentionally deprived of nutrients because they get big and dangerous fast. So, it will keep them from getting stuff like calcium, which will lead to metabolic bone disease. That's Carolyn to the left from Rescue Ridge. They stop right there. They go again. You'll hear it out there either way. They're probably all going to start here in a second. If you can see her at the top of the hill, there's Savannah. Here, pull up a little bit. Either way, I'm going to keep talking about her, but keep an eye on Savannah. She looks really cool when she does her caroling. So, good news. When we rescued Mama Shakira, we were able to rescue all 4 of her litters. We already met one of them, that white tiger that lives in Dakota in the Discovery area. She's from one of her first litters, that's Aurora. And then if you saw the behavioral training with Tanya and Kismet, they were actually born just days before the rescue, so they didn't have to endure the cub cutting industry. If you did see the triplets further down that walkway in the bear tunnel, Rockland, Peyton, and Blackfire, they did have to endure it. They arrived here with severe metabolic bone disease. They couldn't walk when they got here. Our vet staff got to work on them, and they gave them something called the cure and a lot of physical therapy. Now, the cure is just a sick idea. And they were able to get those triplets into a shape where they're able to run around and play like a normal white tiger can. But they are, unfortunately, on our life-saving management plan because of what they endured at that facility. Now, further good news. Since December of 2022, it's federally illegal to operate any cub petting facilities or pay-to-play franchises. So, if you want this stopping point for these really unethical behaviors for these cats, also it's federally illegal to buy any big cats across all 50 states. So, this is great news. Now, this should be able to allow us to regulate this sort of bad stuff from here on out, but keep an eye on your hometown. You never know what could be going on around you. So, that's the beautiful Mama Shakira. We'll keep on moving up, and I'll go ahead and point out that area we saw her caroling from. To the left out there's some fencing across the ridge. That is Rescue Ridge. Home to quite a few cats. Now, it is now our retirement facility. It's flatter land for the older cats to go to. These rolling hills are great to keep the younger cats in shape, but much like with people, that can be taxing. So we'll move them down there once it gets to be a little too difficult for them. But it did pop up in around 2013 because of a woman here in Mountainburg, Arkansas. She had a facility she was looking to shut down, and we wanted her cats. So we built that in 120 days. We built 20 habitats. In 2016, we built 2 all-natural bear habitats down there, amounting to 4.5 acres of land, home to about 5 bears. Also the home of our spotted hyena Rambo. To the left there with green roof is the vet hospital, built just 3 weeks before the Colorado rescue. Came in extremely good use at that time and continues to be really useful to this day because before we had that, it took us over an hour to get that care for our animals. So we're really grateful to have that there. Now let's see who's around up here. Coming up on the right is the home of 2 cats, a white tiger named Glacier, and a female lion named Ngawa. Now, if there was anybody we'd see today, it'd probably be Glacier, but we'll have to keep an eye on the night house, because I think I see them out here today. Oh wait, somebody's behind the tree. There's a tail. They wanted to prove me wrong. I think that's Ngawa. Yeah, she's standing up there. She's such a good disappearing act. Her head's sticking out. She might walk around. But, Glacier and Ngawa, they are from the Indiana facility. They are part of the Indiana 8. Maybe just get a chance to tell you a little bit about tigers and lions sharing habitats. It's very risky. They're very different animals. The you know, like I said earlier, tigers are from Africa, lions are from Asia. Bless you, she just sneezed. Look at that tail go. So, other differences are lions are the most social big cat. They hang out in groups called prides. They go to that caroling, which is that vocalization we heard earlier, which at top volume is heard up to 5 miles away. It's a way for them to communicate between the pride and between different prides. We're not exactly sure what that communication is, but it's really interesting to hear, whereas tigers, they don't really do that. Tigers at this facility, you might hear them making a lot of moaning moon sounds, possibly during the caroling. They're different than a lot of other tigers in the world. Tigers don't really do that sort of caroling. But tigers also are used to the water, rain like this. Stuff is a little bit different though, as you can see with these two cats. Ogawa, she is rocking in the rain. She is enjoying this weather. She's a little bit different than the other lions around here. She's also known for liking the cold. She's been seen sliding down these hills on her belly in the snow. Also, she's really solitary for a lion. She's actually more solitary than Glacier is. Glacier will come up to her to hang out, and she will get up and walk away. She is also the boss of the habitat. So Glacier, if he's laying somewhere she wants to lay, like say her favorite bench right here in the middle, she walks up, nudges him, or does something, and he 9 times out of 10 will just get up and walk away without a single jump. Which is very funny, and they're very cool cats. But they do get along pretty well, and you can see them featured on our social media, like Turpentine Creek on Facebook and Instagram. There's videos of all the cats on there, and you can see them getting up to all their fun antics. And Ogawa and Glacier are just a couple of many, many features on that page. But we can go ahead and keep scooching up here. You'll see all these enrichment toys down at the bottom of the hill. That would be Glacier. He really loves these big balls, especially that really big blue ball. He likes to hug it. There's some videos of him doing that actually pretty recently. I'm surprised I don't see him. He usually likes the water and the cold. Well, coming up on the left here, there is a road down the hill to the commissary. That's where we prep all the food for the animals, and it gives me a chance to get a shout out to Tyson. They come in around 300,000 pounds of meat to this facility. That's pretty good. Can't think of enough for that tremendous contribution. To the right here, you'll see an orange tiger at the fence line. Now that is either Athena or Chuck. I don't know why I said that like that. Chuck or Athena, and I'm pretty sure this is Athena. Athena's got some thinner stripes, so here. Chuck is walking around up in the night house up there. Now Chuck and Athena, they are from a facility. Actually, real quick, if you look to the left on that left night house, that's where the other golden tabby tiger is. He's laying in there. You can see his paws moving around. That's Tigger. I'll tell you his story in a little bit, but I was going to point him out now just in case he disappears. But Chuck and Athena are actually from a facility in Branson. Now, they arrived here back in 2009 with their sister Abigail. Abigail decided she didn't like them anymore, so she lives on Refuge Ridge now, and she enjoys it very much. But when they, actually that facility that Chuck, Athena, and Abigail came from, they claimed to be reputable and safe, that they knew what they were doing. People visiting them could trust them. A very common thing to happen, except they said it is safe for you to join the tigers in their cage. Looks like that. Chuck might be coming down. Oh, yeah, that's definitely Chuck. These are big boys.
The one up on the hill.
So this facility said it is safe for you to go in the cage with Chuck, Athena, and Abigail. So there's a 16-year-old volunteer said, why not? Oh my gosh, it's my favorite boy. I'll tell you more about him in a second, but his name's Fred. Anyways, I love him so much. So the 16-year-old went into a cage with the tigers. If you're just tuning in, sorry, that might be kind of crazy, because this is very distracting. But this facility they were at said it was safe for you. So 16-year-old went in with these 3 cats, and he was unfortunately he barely survived. He's still dealing with the effects of that attack, but what's crazy is he defended the 3 cats and said it wasn't their fault that they attacked him. They're tigers acting on natural instinct, so it was thanks to him that they're still here. Now Tigger, he's actually got a similar sort of circumstance in the sense that the facility he came from claimed to be reputable, claimed to be right by the animals, claimed to be good, claimed to be doing the good thing. They rescued their cats from the cub petting industry. They were a sanctuary, except when they shut down, those cats were in rough shape. So this goes to show you never know exactly what might be going on if you don't do enough research. So we do have up here a little bit of a resource for that I have actually soaked in the rain. It is called the True Sanctuary Checklist. If you would like a soggy piece of paper after the tour, please ask. Otherwise, I can get you a dry piece from my office. It's also accessible on the website, turpentinecreek.org. That's a list that you can go through just to see if you're going through a new facility, if it's reputable or not. But that's a bit about Chuck, Athena, Tigger, and we're going to get up here, see if Fred is going to run around. He's a mischievous little guy, my favorite guy, and he likes to hide from the tram a lot. So he's up in the night house right now. You can see Fred up there. I'll tell you a bit about him. see if Karma might be around. Karma's the other liger at this facility. She is also female. She is. I can't see her right now. I think she might be in that right night house. Oh, there's Fred. Oh, wow. He is an athlete. Karma's from a drive-through safari park in Stratford, Missouri. This drive-through safari park has financial issues. Yeah, she's coming out of that right night house there. They couldn't keep up with new regulations. So these regulations say the fencing between the cats like Karma and the vehicles. Oh, they're running with Karma right now. She's so funny. Look at her go. Go Karma, go Karma. So cute. Anyway, this place couldn't keep up with new regulations. And basically, the fencing between the cats like Karma and the vehicles were only 6 feet tall. That's an issue, because tigers and lions are a lot longer than 6 feet tall, and lions get bigger than them. So it's good they had downsized, and Karma came here, and we're able to have this beautiful girl call this place home. She's an interesting cat. She looks a bit different from Bertie, the other liger. You'll see she's got more freckles on her face. She also makes different sounds in terms of vocalization, from what I've heard. They sound a bit more like type vocalization. This is kind of what we call flirty behavior. She's kind of rolling around, trying to get something out of the keepers, snacks, enrichment, anything she can. Either way, though, we're going to look right, or I'm going to look right and keep an eye on Fred. If you want to keep an eye on Karma, feel free. I'll go, oh my gosh, he's here. And he just pops up. Okay? He's not here, though. Don't worry. So, Fred, to tell you a bit about Fred. This story, I have to tell you India's story. She was happened to arrive here in 2005. I know, before her arrival, she was owned privately by a man here in Arkansas. He got her a pup and he raised her up for about 2 years. And then he looked at his 2-year-old tiger and said, whoa, that's a really big animal. So he did the only thing he could think of, and he loaded Karma up. Sorry, not Karma, India up. That's why he was so surprised when 4 days later, he opened his front door in India, was looking at him, waiting for her next meal. She had traveled over 60 miles over the course of 4 days, just following his scent, without ever being seen. This man was pretty reasonably freaked out by this, so he loaded India back up, brought her to us. He told us the story. We said, sure, okay, we'll take India and we'll take that story straight to court, so we got the laws changed here in Arkansas. Since 2005, it's been illegal across the state to buy any big cats. And like I mentioned earlier, since December of 2022, it's federally illegal to own or buy any big cats across all 50 states. But Fred, he was rescued right here in Arkansas in 2023 as somebody attempted to sell him. The people that had him before, they were actually dog breeders that ran an Instagram account where they would post the dogs they had bred and said, this dog, however much money. And one day they posted a picture of Fred and said, tiger cup for sale, $10,000, as if it wasn't federally illegal. Also, they weren't discreet because their neighbors saw Fred running around in the backyard. So Fred was very quickly taken away from there. He actually arrived here at less than a year old. He was a pretty small guy. And for a while, he was actually under the witness protection program, so we didn't tell anybody his story. But now that's all wrapped up, his owners have been appropriately charged. And Fred is happily calling this place his forever home. And he's a funny guy. He's also very, very heavily featured on the social media. And he's my favorite cat here. Because I would do walks up the tour road, and he would like to stalk me. And then I would turn around, and he would jump up and hop around for a second and run back and forth and go, oh my gosh, Fred, you were so funny. He'd come running back and jump on that barrel of the ball and attack it and bite it. Oh my gosh, you're so cute. And then I think, I think he's imagining I'm the ball. And so I remember every time I messaged Fred that he's a big cat, even at just less than 2 years old, not even a full-grown boy. But anyways, we'll keep on moving up. I'm sure Fred will be a little jerk and pop up as we drive.
You want
At least Carmen's very pretty.
then you gotta behave. I'll take we'll take you out of the way.
Anyways, on the habitat of Poncho. Poncho's Montana's brother. Often heard he would mom getting that distinct noise down, but he's walking around in his nice house right now. Is he coming out?
You want to sit in between?
I don't know. Anyways, Poncho's from that Colorado facility. It gives me an opportunity to tell you that there is over 10,000 tigers in the United States, more than their native environment, and only 2,000 of those are in accredited facilities. So, you never know where these cats are going to pop up. That means around 8,000-ish tigers are in private zoos, roadside zoos, private ownership, circuses, and just different circumstances all over the place. Also, the habitat to the left is empty, so you don't need to worry about that. But keeping that number in mind, 10,000 tigers in the United States. We're coming up on the habitat of Roman Donner, 2 white tigers. They alternate access. Usually like hanging out in their night house either way. We'll get more into that in a second, but it does look like I don't know who has access today, I can't see. Looks like Roman probably has access. They're probably laying down, I guess. But anyways, they're from that Colorado facility. They give me the chance to tell you about white tigers. So like I said, 10,000 tigers in the United States. With white tigers in mind, out of 10,000 tigers, there should actually really only be one naturally occurring white tiger. But there's hundreds of them across the United States. So why is this? It's because of more unethical breeding. It actually goes back to a tiger named Mohan, who was revered for his beauty back in the 1950s when he was taken from the wild as a cub. And then as he got older, they were worried about losing the white tiger, so they decided to start breeding him. And they did get more white tigers, and they thought, well, the best way to have more white tigers is to breed white tigers with white tigers. So that's what happened. And Mohan and his offspring, Mohan's offspring were sold all over the world and then distributed. So that means no matter how ethically bred a white tiger is, they will be somehow related to Mohan and his children. And you can see that mostly in that our poster child for this, Kenny. He's on the billboard as you enter Turpentine Creek. He's also got a sign in the Discovery area that tells you a lot about his story, but he went viral for being the tiger with Down syndrome. But tigers can't get Down syndrome because they don't have enough chromosomes. Kenny was just all the effects of this really unethical breeding. He had a huggish nose, crooked teeth, eyes that were funky, ears far apart. We can also see the effects of this in cats like these, in that every white tiger is in some way, shape, or form cross-eyed. We see the same thing that turns them white, crosses their optic nerve, so they can't really see well. Roman's got really badly crossed eyes. Donner, he looks fine, but he can't see well. He'll bump into something if it's new in the habitat. And you can also see that in Rockland's down the bear tunnel. She's got really bad crossed eyes. And in their pictures of the gift shop. But we'll go ahead and keep on scooching out Skinny Tiger. So whenever we got them back on their proper diet, we found out that Lion was actually a pretty petite lion. And Opie, being so tall, is actually a very naturally large tiger. He's around one of the biggest cats at this facility. He's around 500 pounds. So for Lila's safety, we decided to bring Opie over here. Actually, I think we decided to bring Lila over there. They were originally in here. But Opie's a pretty happy guy. One of the main things about Opie is, if you can see it now, the tips of his ears are kind of flat. And that's because of something that a lot of the cats endured at that Tiger King Park, which was fly straining. That's where flies will eat away at skin and infect wounds. It's really rough to spare you most of the nitty-gritty details there. But Opie's happier here, and he's got some interesting neighbors to keep an eye on. We'll go ahead and keep on moving up here. Meet one more member of the Indiana 8 if we can, and a crowd favorite. She's up there posing like a pretty girl. This is the beautiful Miles. She is an orange tiger. I don't know if she has access to the habitat right now, but she's described as flirty. Much like Karma, how she was behaving earlier. That's how Miles behaves any chance she gets whenever she sees the keeper. She is just flipping on her back, playing with her feet, rubbing around. She's chuffing, she's mooing, she's moaning, she's rubbing on the fence. The keepers love her. She sometimes does that for us down here at the bottom of the hill, but something else she likes to display for us is that tigers can also spray, and when they spray, it goes 10 feet away from their body. So Miles, I think, has got a pretty high score on the amount of times that she has hit this tramp with her spray. If she does ever hit you, or any of these cats do, please let us know. We're going to do our best to compensate you for that. It's not a pleasant experience. It smells absolutely awful, and we're sorry if it happens. But it looks like Miles is we're out of the splash zone today, so we'll go ahead and make our way out of here. Go up and start talking about that Tiger King rescue and meet the beautiful Samira at the top of the hill, female lioness. She should have access to the habitat today, but she alternates access with a male Cairo. I don't know if either of them have access right now, actually. Cairo, he's the only other second-generation hybrid at this facility. He's something called a liger, so that means his dad's a liger, his dad's a lion, and his mom's a liger. So that means he's 3 parts lion, 1 part tiger. If you look close enough, you might see his ears sticking up there just at the edge of that den. But he's the only cat up here with some semblance of a mane. We call it his reverse mullet because it's longer in the front, shorter in the back. And Funky, being the second-generation hybrid he is, he also is covered in freckles, kind of like what we saw on Fergie's face. You can see that all over his face and also his body. His whole body's got spots on it. It's very interesting. It's something you don't see on adult lions or tigers, but it is something you see on lion films. And that's actually something they use to blend in with the grass. But as they grow up, they can't use that to blend in anymore, so they usually lose those spots. But hybrids like Cairo and Karma, they'll keep those spots pretty distinctly sometimes. But they are both from that Tiger King Park. Samir is actually the loudest vocalizer here, by the way. If you are here walking around, and you probably will hear some more caroling if you stick around long enough on these rainy days. You'll hear one come in really loud, it's Samira. The one that comes in really low is Cairo. It's a really cool way, kind of fun to get to identify which cats are making that sound. She's a beautiful girl. She's described as regal because she doesn't play in front of people, only plays in front of Cairo. And she holds her high. She's the queen. She's very cool. They're happier away from that Tiger King Park. But like I said, we did pull 10 cats out of that facility with the help of the Department of Justice. That being said, it did turn into 13 shortly after they arrived here. If you look up here towards this river cane, you'll see some tigers hiding in the corner. Just their feet sticking out. Not a great view, but they do have access to this habitat and the next one there too. So there's a chance there might be some over there, and that side's actually visible from the top of the hill, kind of by Bakira, Selbit, and Bam Bam. So as we pass in front of the river tank, you can have feet in between there. But this is the home of dogs Rosie and Jinx. Their mom was pregnant when she arrived here from the Tiger King Park. Hello, they're licking at us. I think there's 2 right here. Maybe even 3. I don't know for sure. There might be one at the very corner there. But their mom was pregnant with them when she arrived here from the Tiger King Park, and you might think they automatically had an easier life because they were born here and not there. And they did in a sense, because if they were born there, they would most likely not be here today. Because they were born with the only known case of cluster tigers. Meaning instead of their face facing forward, their feet were facing inward. So they couldn't walk. They couldn't put their back legs under them. The way we figured that out is we saw them dragging themselves across the ground to get their mother in the den. Now, we've leapt into action. The vet staff jumped into the habitat and started taking the kiddos out of there twice a day for 4 months. Physical therapy, lifting, just general work on their bodies to try and get them into a shape that they would be able to survive. They couldn't walk without this. So it was a really, really scary time. You can watch the full documentary on our website, turpentineCreek.org, under the shop tab. It's a free documentary. It's 30 minutes long. It's really, really good. Now, good news, they did get them into a shape where they can run around just in time, too. They live like normal tigers. They're not on our lifetime paid management plan. Dogs Rosie and Jinx, they are lively. They love to have pool parties. Anytime you put Rosie in one of the night houses, she sounds like the MGM lion. She refuses to go in the night house. She hates it. It's a really interesting sound if you hear the sound of the MGM lion, which, by the way, is a tiger roar, if you're confused. It's Rosie, and she's not happy. But both of her brothers are distinctly bigger than her, so if you ever see them walking around over here from the top of that hill, she's pretty easy to identify compared to her brothers. But they're really cool cats. Anyway, though, that concludes the visible part of our tour. We're going to go ahead and take you up, drop you off where we picked you up. And I do want to thank you guys for coming out, and I do have with me replicas of a tiger tooth and a tiger claw. These are pretty big. I don't think you need these in your home. I hope you got that message at least after that tour. As we say here, these are predators, not pets. So I hope you're able to continue helping us in condemning the illegal wildlife trade. We once again can't thank you enough for coming out today. As we pass this road to gift shops, you might check out from here. There's a cargo drum up there. We actually pulled a counter out of that cargo drum in one of our rescues. You can read about that rescue on the sign there. Also, other rescues and that rescue now by Bam Bam Night House. Like from habitat to habitat. Yeah, in terms of moving cats from habitat to habitat, it's convincing one of the cats to move into their side of the night house, walking them in, and then we ask the cats to get into these things called like roll cages, and these are the smaller cages that usually somebody will be on top of, protected. They have a door that slams down the second they're in there, start moving them that way. If they can put them on the truck, they'll try. It can be faster than those roll cages and a lot smoother. All right, now once again, thank you so much, my friends, for coming out today. If you have any questions at all, feel free to ask. Thank you guys, I appreciate you. Thank you for bearing with me too. I've been missing this entire tour, and I've not acknowledged it So I appreciate you guys bearing with me and my big tongue early in the morning. Have any questions, I will try to answer them a little bit more eloquently. Feel free to grab those unchained.